with Laugh Pig, and we're going to finish this little series up with just some books and some resources on lifestyle in general. Kind of taking care of your body, taking care of your spirit as you're going through your healing process, and just really for life in general anymore. Life is just insane anymore, you know? And I realized that I have several of these books. Again, if you want to borrow any of these, by all means, just let me know. You don't have to buy them. You can certainly borrow them. And what I realized is there are several of mine that have been borrowed right now. So I'm not able to show you the cover of all of them. But I will still let you know the authors and everything so you can take a look if you want to. A really, really great one, and my mother has it right now, is by Louise Hay. That You Can Heal Your Life is one of the really great ones by her. She was a lady who did a whole lot of healing on her own, a lot of healing from old traumas and the such, and from physical ailments too. And a whole lot of it is positive affirmations and the such, and the birds going crazy. But I love her take on life. I love Louise Hay's take on life and how we, turn things around to get life going in our direction instead of us fighting it all the time. So Louise Hay, Louisehey, Louise Hay. Almost any of her books are outstanding. My mother in particular loves Louise's stuff. So big thumbs up for her. Eckhart Tolle. His big breakout book, I know Oprah Winfrey made such a big deal out of it, was The Power of Now. He's an interesting little man who kind of had a spiritual awakening quite a few years ago. And I love his take on spirituality, mindfulness, like I said, The Power of Now. That's if you only do one Eckhart Tolle piece, do The Power of Now. It is really outstanding, so simple, so easy to understand, but it's about being mindful of our present moment right now. All of our anxiety is coming from worry about what's happening in the future. All of our depression is coming over sadness that's happened in the past. When we're present in the present moment, everything's good, and this is how we create our health and our wellness and our happiness going forward. Also, his other two books that I have are New Earth and Stillness Speaks. I have all three of these in book form, but I also have all three of these in audiobook form because Eckhart Tolle himself does the narration. So it's like getting the teaching from the spiritual teacher himself. And I listen to each of his three books at least once a year. And it's like getting that teaching over again once a year from the author. And I get so much from his work. And like I said, it is so simple just to bring us into presence and remember that all we have is the right now. We don't have tomorrow. So we don't need to worry about tomorrow, and we don't have yesterday. We have right now. This is what we have, and how do we make the best of it? So Eckhart Tolle's stuff, Eckhart, I think that's how you spell his first name. Tolle is Tolle, his last name. Don Miguel Ruiz, here he is. And if you've heard anything of his, it's The Four Agreements. This is the first one I ever had of his and is the most popular. And you see, it's a small book. It's not a huge book. It's not a huge read that's going to take you forever. This is Toltec wisdom. And the Four Agreements themselves, which he explains further in here. Be impeccable with your word. That's number one. And that doesn't mean use the perfect words and perfect grammar all the time. Being impeccable with your words. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using your words to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. So there's agreement number one is be impeccable with your word. Number two is don't take anything personally. Oh, that one's hard. Let me tell you. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. That's number 2. Don't take anything personally. Number 3, don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life by not making assumptions. Last one, always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to when you are sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Those simple 4 agreements are what this entire book is about. He talks in depth about them, but it's so good to remember. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. Now, these are 2 more of his that I have actually barely gotten into one of them, into The Voice of Knowledge. The Voice of Knowledge and Beyond Fear, a Toltec Guide to Freedom and Joy. And I think in these days and times right now, those are going to both be really good. Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you haven't listened to any of Dr. Joe Dispenza's stuff, he's a very, very powerful proponent of creating your own day with your mind and with your actions and with following your emotions and the such. This one happens to be Becoming Supernatural. I'm trying to think of some of his other titles, and they're not coming to me right now. But really, any of Dr. Joe Dispenza's books are outstanding as far as learning to heal yourself, learning to heal your body, learning to transform your own life from within. Dr. Joe Dispenza, great one. We've gone over Dr. Violdo and Grow a New Body. He also has, what are some of his other books? One Spirit Medicine. Oh, that one's a good one, although that one's hard to find. One Spirit Medicine is hard to find. The Heart of the Shaman. Power Up Your Brain. That's a great one by him. Power Up Your Brain, because it's talking about different supplements, foods, and things that can help with brain fog and the such. Soul Journeying, Shaman Healer Sage, Dance of the Four Winds. So a lot of Dr. Violdo's stuff is, shamanic in nature, but a whole lot of it is about health and wellness too. So he's a good one to look at. And here's a couple that don't necessarily have that much to do with COVID and what we've been talking about and all. This book, Dr. Michio Kaku, I've had this one for a really long time. The Do-In Way. Gentle exercises to liberate the body, mind, and spirit. This book covers a whole lot from self-massage to self-care, diet, exercise, meditation, lifestyle. There's a whole lot of really interesting stuff. There's a lot of ancient Chinese medicine in here about how to look at different parts of your body, how to look at your eyes and determine if you're well or not by how your eyes look, how your skin looks, how your fingers are shaped, how your toenails look. It's pretty cool in the vein of learning to become your own doctor and see what you've got going on in your own body without having to depend on an outside expert to tell you what's going on. Interesting stuff. This one, Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, The Body Keeps the Score. This one is not so much about healing from COVID, post-COVID, something like that. But I'm finding that so many people that are dealing with chronic health issues are also dealing with old traumas that are stored in their body. A whole lot of childhood trauma, whether it's childhood sexual trauma, just violent trauma, neglectful trauma, bullying, not being accepted, a whole lot of things that end up causing problems as an adult, even though we don't identify it that way necessarily. We don't identify that the reason we are overweight as an adult is because we had sexual abuse in our past as a child. What this book does is makes the connection between particularly childhood traumas, because a childhood brain is not as capable of processing a trauma into a long-term memory the way an adult brain does. A childhood brain under that kind of trauma processes memories in a completely different way into a physical form, where your memory, the memory can be stored as a back pain or an ankle that keeps going out or a bad neck or something like that. It's really, really, really fascinating book. It's kind of sciencey, but I'm a science geek, so that's probably why I enjoyed it so much. But they make the connection between things that happened, traumas that happened as a child that maybe we have not healed from, and adult level disease processes. And when you make that connection, and that's why he says the body keeps the score. The body is keeping a score somewhere inside of everything that's ever happened to you. And if there's some bad stuff in there that happened to you that's never been dealt with, never gone through counseling for it, never worked through these old traumatic memories and all, we just don't want to think about it because that's too uncomfortable, you're going to feel it somewhere. Your body's either going to create a disease out of it, create a pain out of it, create some kind of little skin issue out of it. It's really fascinating how old traumas can still be with us even though they didn't seem like a big trauma back in the day. So if you're really getting into that, or you know that you've got old traumas in your past that need to be worked on, The Body Keeps the Score is a really, really outstanding resource. Have I blabbed on enough? I can also throw in there, if you happen to like them, Dr. Wayne Dyer. So much of his work is really great about connecting body, mind, and spirit. Deepak Chopra's work is good. David J.I. is his last name, put out a really good one recently. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't The Anatomy of Stress, but it's something about stress and living more stress-free. That was a really good one. Even people like Tony Robbins, you know, if listening to somebody like that lifts you up and empowers you to care for your body, to become your own doctor, to learn what you need to make your life a better place, then go for that. And this is the time. When you're on a healing journey, there is nothing more important than you. This is the time you take complete care of you, do the best for you and yourself that you can, and make this healing journey a success for you. And not only are you doing it for you, think about other people, how many other people are just like you out there that are going through this. I mean, y'all are the first wave of these long COVID people that we're seeing. So we're going to be watching you guys, figuring out how can we best help them recover. Therefore, we can help the ones that are to come that are going to need recovery. So I'm so proud of you guys for how hard you're working to get yourself back to a good level of health. And more power to you. If I can be of any help, y'all let me know. And good luck. Good luck and a bunch of love to you. Peace out. Have a great day. See ya.